How's it hanging, dudes? My name is Sean and welcome back to another Jurassic World Evolution video. And man, you guys asked for it, you guys are going to get it again. You guys wanted to see an ISLA SORNA video, and today that's what we're going to do. We're going to focus only on ISLA SORNA, some of the speculation, some of the facts, some of the things that are actually in the movie canon and how it'll tie into the game. We're going to be discussing that, but before we do that, go ahead and smack a like, go ahead and subscribe if you're new, and turn on the notification bell because you don't want to miss this hype train. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers. I can't thank you guys enough. You guys keep on keeping on, and so will I. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So a lot of you guys have asked me about ISLA SORNA, what's going to happen on ISLA SORNA, what will we find when we get to ISLA SORNA in-game? And there is a lot to discuss, but first let's go over some general backstory, and that might give us some clues as to what we will see whenever we get to the island in-game. So ISLA SORNA, in Spanish that means Sarcasm Island. ISLA SORNA is the largest island of the 5 deaths. It is the stage of the Lost World Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park 3. After INGEN bought the island, INGEN codenamed the island Site B. In the laboratories of the INGEN compound, dinosaurs were cloned. In paddocks on the island, the dinosaurs were nursed until they were a few months old and then transported to Jurassic Park on Isla Nublar. Pretty much just a giant hatchery is what this was. And keep in mind that ISLA SORNA was quite a bit larger than Isla Nublar. Isla Nublar is just 87 miles east of ISLA SORNA, so they're actually relatively close. As far as we know in the movie canon, after Hurricane Clarissa hit the island, all personnel was evacuated from the island and the facilities were later abandoned. So let's go over some geography. Like Isla Nublar, it was originally part of the hotspot archipelago of the Pacific, Las Cinco Muertes. Isla SORNA was a geographical plain of sharp volcanic cliffs which over time has been overlain with both classic and coniferous jungles. The volcanic history was also tapped into by INGEN, who used geothermal energy to as a renewable power source to run the worker village, which kind of helped facilitate a lot of the buildings and stuff like that. Allowed for some interesting division between the predators and herbivores of the island. The larger and more fearsome carnivores such as Tyrannosaurus rex and even the Spinosaur tend to stay mostly towards the island's interior, while the herbivores such as the Parasaurolophus and the Mamenchisaurus stay on the rim of the island, along with the very small carnivores like the Comphis. Interestingly enough, the structure of the island allows for a very curious arrangement. The island has multiple channels and canyons that cut deep into the island's interior and all the way from the coast. This allows for statements said by John Hammond in 1997, an often misinterpreted statement about the arrangement said by Eric Kirby in 2001. And this holds true. Essentially, the larger portion of the island interior also has a large amount of water inlets cutting into it. Although the island is tropical region, at night, ISLA SORNA has been shown to be cold enough for one to see their own breath. So like Isla Nublar, there's just a whole host of climates and different biomes. So just some quick history, before INGEN populated the island with dinosaurs, ISLA SORNA was just trees, plants, life, and living animals. During INGEN's operation on the island, there were 4 areas that were constructed. The embryonics, administration, and laboratory compound was the main factor that produced the dinosaurs on a massive scale. After the production of the mutant variety of Pteranodon, a large aviary was constructed where the genetic mutated pterosaurs could be studied and quarantined. There was also an airstrip that was built close to embryonics, administration, and laboratories compound. A bit further from here, on the other side of the ravine that also hosted the aviary was the workers' village. This is a small compound that was used as the barracks for the employees who worked at ISLA SORNA, as well as processing a radio that could reach the mainland and numerous other things. INGEN continued their operation on ISLA SORNA up until about 1993, sometime after the incident on Isla Nublar where the hurricane struck ISLA SORNA and was forced to evacuate the island, right? So we kind of come full circle there. So after INGEN, after the evacuation of ISLA SORNA, the dinosaurs were freed and left to, care for themselves. In 1997, a British family on a yacht cruise stumbles upon the island, and the family's little girl is attacked by several Compsognathus, little compies, right? Peter Ludo, John Hammond's nephew, uses the incident to take over INGEN and become the new CEO of the company. Knowing that Ludo is planning an expedition to ISLA SORNA to capture the dinosaurs to be displayed in Jurassic Park San Diego, Hammond sends his own team to ISLA SORNA to document the dinosaurs in order to gain public support for the isolation of ISLA SORNA as a natural preserve. As Ian Malcolm points out, also voiced by Jeff Goldblum, the dinosaurs should have succumbed to the Lysine Contingency and died after about 6 or 7 days, but Hammond reveals that the animals are actually thriving on the island. He also explains that the carnivores tend to group towards the middle of the island while herbivores stay mostly on the outer rim. So we kind of talked a little bit about like, all that. This kind of like breaks it down a little bit more. And just so you know, the Lysine Contingency was a genetic alteration that Henry Wu performed in the dinosaur genome. The modification knocked out the ability of the dinosaurs to produce amino acid lysine. This forced the dinosaurs to depend on lysine supplements provided by the park's veterinarian staff. And this way, dinosaurs could never escape from the park because they would never survive long enough without their food supplements, right? So it's kind of like a fail-safe, like a safety net. Okay, so anyway, however, once on the island, the clashing Ludo and Hammond's teams causes chaos to break loose. The survivors on both teams have to combine forces and hike to the workers' village in order to send a distress call, because that's where the radio's at. After a few days of hiking, the team encounter a pair of parent tyrannosaurs, then a pack of velociraptors outside a field of long grass. Their numbers are now heavily diminished, and a rescue call is made and the teams are airlifted out. Unfortunately, before Ludo was able to salvage his operation by capturing a male T-Rex, this mistake is his last, and after the Tyrannosaur buck breaks loose and rampages through San Diego, the animal is eventually recaptured and returned to Isla Sorna where he belongs, along with the infant T-Rex. And after the incident, Isla Sorna is declared a restricted zone by both the U.S. and Costa Rican governments, and the deliberation begins by both on what should be done about the island. So you advance 4 years later now. A 12-year-old boy and his mother's boyfriend went parasailing near Isla Sorna in hopes to see dinosaurs. Unfortunately, something attacks their boat, leaving Ben and Eric stranded on the island. After pleading to multiple agencies to help getting their son back, the divorced couple traveled to the island with Alan Grant and a trio of mercenaries in order to retrieve Eric. After the Spinosaurus destroys the plane and takes out two of the mercenaries, the group is left stranded on the island. After finding Ben's rotting corpse, the group treks on but gets separated by the Velociraptor encounter. Eventually finding Eric and regrouping, the Kirbys and Alan Grant are able to send a call to Ellie Degler, whose husband works for the United States State Department. She is then able to send Marines and the Navy to the island to rescue the Kirbys and Alan Grant. And of course, we know that Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Isla Sorna, was confirmed by the Dinosaur Protection Group to have no more dinosaurs left. The remaining dinosaurs were taken to Isla Nublar to be housed for Jurassic World after a large drop in dinosaur population due to the illegal species on the island. Okay, so that's pretty much the generic backstory of Isla Sorna. So what does that mean now, right? So if you take the Fallen Kingdom little description there, it says that there are no remaining dinosaurs left on Isla Sorna. First off, this is a huge island, very huge island, 3 times the size of Isla Nublar, respectively. So first off, how do you know that every single Comfy is off the island? How do you know that, okay, maybe you got the Spinosaurus off the island, right? Which means that it's in Isla Nublar, right? And in the game, they are saying that they are working in lockstep with the movies. And being as the game takes place in between the first and the second movie, you can kindly safely assume that you'll be taking the dinosaurs you might be the person who takes the wild dinosaurs from Isla Sorna and moves them to Isla Nublar. That might be a mission, a goal of yours, right? Because it says the Dinosaur Protection Group has said that there are no more dinosaurs. After the illegal species population kind of died down in Isla Nublar, to reopen the park, they would have to move the dinosaurs from Isla Sorna that they've been keeping there to repopulate the actual park, right? But, you know, they've been fooled. Life finds a way. They've been fooled so many times about dinosaurs being out or actually being in their paddock. So we don't really know if every single dinosaur is off Isla Sorna. So when we get to Isla Sorna in the game, what does that mean? Well, there's a few things. First, like we just said, you could either be taking those dinosaurs and moving to Isla Nublar or capturing them, right? You might just have a long list of dinosaurs that you have to trank, which means you might have to build a small park just as a basis on Isla Sorna before you can even get further into the island because there's so many wild dinosaurs there, right? You might be that person who moves them to Isla Nublar. Now, second, what else could this mean? Well, this means a number of things. We know that there's an aviary on Isla Sorna. So we also know that they're working in lockstep with the movies. There's aviaries in the movies. So does that confirm an aviary attraction of some sort? I think it does. I don't think it'll be at launch, but I think by the time people get to Isla Sorna, that'll probably be there. It might even be an unlockable. It might actually be in the game at launch. You just can't get to it until Isla Sorna, right? You might not have enough money to make aviaries. That might just be a thing. So, what does this mean? This means that if there are wild dinosaurs on Isla Sorna, Well, who's to say that they haven't been evolving for a little while on their own? Who's to say that you might not be able to get basic genes from those dinosaurs that you can implement in your other parks and your other genes with your other dinosaurs that you already have? Isla Sorna is going to be so big, and there's so much there. You know, I'm excited to see if there's any remains of the workers' village. I'm excited to see if the aviary is there, if the landing strip, the airstrip is there. I really want to, and so, you know, Isla Sorna is a restricted zone. So here's a third thing we can extrapolate from this. If it's a restricted zone and it's been abandoned for so many years, and you might be the person who safely moves the dinosaurs from Sorna to Nublar, well, then that place might be so overgrown. There might be so much there. There might be so much stuff that you might, you know, take your eraser tool, erase some of the trees, and boom, you find the workers' village or something like that, right? So how cool would that be? And then you can have like a relic or something like that that you can set up almost as a monument to former parks, and that could be an attraction of itself. Or at the very least, that's how I would set it up in my mind. Even if you couldn't do that, like I would make it a quartered off area. If these things are actually in the game, I'd make it like a quartered off area, and that would be kind of like a monument for me. I wouldn't destroy it. I would keep it there, right? So I don't know. There's so much here to discuss with Isla Sorna. We might be able to do another one because there is a lot of speculation to do here. So let me know what you guys think. What else could we add to this? What else do you think might be on Isla Sorna? Do you think that's how we'll unlock the Spinosaurus? You know, what are you guys thinking? Let me know in the comment section below. We are almost at 1,000 subs. You guys keep it up. I think this is our 100th video, so you know, man, I can't be more grateful enough. You guys are killing it, and I hope you keep killing it, and I'll see you in the next one.